Some languages have no word for the color blue, and you've probably heard what that supposedly does to people. That without the word, they cannot see the color at all. There's a famous test that seems to prove it. You have almost certainly seen the picture. Half of this is genuinely true. The other half was made up for television. Not exaggerated. Invented. Start with the part that holds up. Languages really do differ in how many basic color words they carry. Some get by with very few. Others slice the spectrum finely. And across many languages, a word for blue tends to arrive late. A tendency, though, not a law, and researchers argue about how strong it is. Part of the reason is wonderfully practical. Almost nothing you can hold in your hand is naturally blue. Blue dye and blue pigment are rare and difficult to produce. You tend to name the things you handle, not the sky. Which brings us to an old poem and a very confident politician. Homer calls the sea wine dark and never once calls anything blue. A Victorian prime minister noticed and drew a bold conclusion. He decided the Greeks must not have seen color the way we do. Others searched more ancient texts and found the same silence. And that is the entire origin of the idea you've heard. One poet's vocabulary turned into a claim about human eyes. So where did the famous square test come from? A television documentary filmed with a community in southern Africa. On screen, it looks like a clean, decisive experiment. It wasn't one. It was a dramatization. And the results described on screen were invented by the program makers, not proposed by the scientists, not endorsed by them either. Is still the image everybody shares. Quick check on yourself before the real finding. Did you believe the strong version? Most people do, and it's a good instinct to notice. The genuine research is real, careful, and much quieter. The key work was published in 2005. It used different pictures and a completely different method. And crucially, it never measured whether people passed or failed. It measured how long they took. Speakers were a little slower to pick out a color their language doesn't separate. Slower, never unable. There's a second real finding, and it's the lovely one. Take colors spaced perfectly evenly by the measuring instruments. People whose language draws a boundary in the middle judge them as uneven. The word doesn't change the light. It bends the ruler you judge with. That is the whole effect. It is small, and it is genuinely there. So let's be completely clear about the eyes. The same wavelengths arrive, whatever language you happen to speak. The equipment is identical. Nobody is missing a color. What differs is the sorting that happens afterwards. Language is the filing system, not the camera. And this is why the invented version is worth resisting. The made-up claim is louder and far easier to repeat. But the real answer says something stranger about you. You're also sorting the world into the boxes your words gave you. You simply can't feel a happening because you've never used another set. There's a whole map of curious questions waiting at hello.curioo.com.